So creating a chip that goes into the mind, yes.
Hmm.
Well, where you bridge the gap between AI and human intelligence, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like a soul without a body. You could look at it that way. We can look at AI and think that it's really, really good, yes.
Mm.
But then it poses a problem, right? So let's say if energy mysteriously just fizzled out, yes?
Mm.
Massive CME that comes flying out the star, right? And it wipes out most technology. Let's say, for argument's sake, right? You know, building a chip. I think this is one of Musk's concepts. I'm going to take it and dive into it. If we understand it, that we just accept it as a chip and a few people have it, yes, and it's a database, it's going to unlock the door of spirituality, religion, anything else, right?
Mm.
And we've got a lot of empires that have been built on the belief of not leaving it at the door, so to speak, yes? So there could be some sort of hesitancy on whether to roll out technology like this
Yeah.
because they've built the basis of their empire on religion is just not important. We're going to go away and do some. Now, you might argue left and right that that's a bad thing or a good thing. Technically, it's about changing, the strength to change, yes? So to believe something, to then switch your belief from one to the other, yes? So we could have do not believe, and we could have we do believe, again, still. And you got to understand that empires fought back in the beginning over belief, yes?
Mm.
That's when we focus on the negative side of
Yeah.
what belief is. But also, we overlook the fact sometimes and we think, what good things have been created in this? So we could say that there isn't much people in the realm of belief these days, yeah? Now, you could argue that that might be about a lot of things, but it's because it's been closed off, right?
Yeah.
So if we go back in time, people would sit together and share ideas of their guiding light, their inner compass, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they would say something to these individuals. These individuals would say something back, and then you formulate a new path.
Mhm.
And then other people, you'll often understand this, that people will hold on beliefs and they bottleneck them, they keep them in the same confines. There's a reason for this. It's behavior at the end of the day, because in order to formulate new belief systems and create new things is to better understand this. Yes, this guiding light. Everyone's being guided. I mean, I can't really draw it too well, but we'll give it a go. So we understand the fruits on a tree, yes?
Mhm.
Each one of these would be like the universal structure. What's outside the universe? You know.
Yeah.
And we'll look at a plant. Plants are more capable of predicting this. This is interesting. I'll stay there, Dorothy. Stay there. Follow me. Plants, yes?
Yeah.
These. So we take a look at the top half, yes?
Yeah.
This one's been very gentle. It's not been cut very much, but you've seen the other one. Take my word for it. It's got needles on it this big.
Yeah, it
If
is.
they dry, they have potential to do serious damage to you. You don't respect the plant, and it grows defense mechanisms. This one does have thorns on it, but they're very small. Nigh on insignificant, right?
Yeah.
But it hasn't been overclipped. It hasn't been overcut. It has been, but even still, these thorns on here are not going to do much good, yes? Did you see them? Very small.
Yeah, I did.
The other one has got larger.
Yeah, very
You
long
can
ones.
use those as sewing needles if you dry them out correctly.
Yeah.
Nothing else really, probably just sewing, knitting. Blimey, you probably could. But when you're respectful to the plant, this one's been respected, the other one has not. And the thorns are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's almost like that's how I would look at the universe, bends around you. And it'll either bend towards you in a nice way, or it can bend towards you in a not so nice way. Yes, we'll take this and understanding. This is like a universal structure. You can either look at it as a plant, a tree, anything like that. And it's eerie, isn't it, that Celts, they had this understanding of tree. They had a reverence to tree, didn't they? It was their first sort of religion, if you like that.
Yeah.
And then the part we don't see is the roots, right? And we got the piece in the middle, and then we have two realms. We have in the light and darkness, the shades of grey when we combine the two. And then we have the lack of pressure. Well, we have high and low pressure, but it's not as pressurized as their root layer. That's if soil is a byproduct of nature anyway, so if we really think about it. But this is like the universal structure. The fruits you would see as biomes. What's a biome? A biome is the universe. So we have the universe as we live in, and we often focus in, whilst we're here, it's important to focus in on the universe, right? So we start thinking about hydrogen, light and dark, and all of the realms, hot and cold, and hydrogen to helium all the way through to iron, and there are more. Probably not naturally forming, but again, you were naturally formed inside that. Now, the universe is quite stable from this left to right. It's like a pendulum that swings. You have the explosion, stars, darkness, black holes pop. Again, this flowing back and forth, the condensing, is very much predictable. It's a structure that's been perfected. And it's created a fruit. This particular plant, if we would understand the universe as a plant, it would be a structure like this, where we have the central column, and we have the pressure and the lack of pressure, and we also have the realm in the middle. We could say four, the fourth one. This is the third, which would be the middle. It would be a different plant entirely, basically. It would have every branch of every tree growing out of it. And each tree, bush, shrub, anything else like that would create a fruit, different fruits. So it'd be one tree, but so it would be part pine. It would then be part birch, part elm, part oak, keep going, plum, cherry. I don't know what we call this, vine? No. Each branch that comes off of it would be significant to another representation, right? Capable of creating a different fruit, which then means a different biome. So when we look at the universe, we're so homed in on this, the interior. We never look at the exterior. And it's hard to, right? Can you imagine that any life form that succeeds through this balanced cycling adds more hydrogen? What happens if you add more hydrogen? I'm not on about converting it from the objects that lay around, whether we've got iron, steel, wood, anything else like that. No. What happens if you add more hydrogen? You create hydrogen as opposed to forming hydrogen from the construct that you're already living in. So you would take an object, let's say iron, and defuse it all the way back to hydrogen. And then you use hydrogen and you keep clumping it. If you've got more hydrogen, there's more for you to mush together, yes? But the universe seems to reach a limit. Seems to be iron. And it seems to be neutrino black hole, right? Supernovae as well. They're fascinating. But what happens if you added more hydrogen?
I don't know what happens.
Yeah, you see, it's like a gift that you give back, right? But it comes from thinking outside, which religion gets you thinking outside, right? And most want to try and control it. The only way to control it is to control thought. How do you control thought? Stopping other people from thinking about anything else outside of the constructs. And you might say that that's bad and that's this, and this. But if there comes the invention of the chip, there's going to be a database. And the most popular part of it, we notice this, that it almost seems to come back with a passion. It seems to dwindle, start to fade out, this religion, this belief, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's not undeniable. But what the thing is, right, people who don't believe in anything are not surrounded by people who do believe in anything. So they believe in reality, which is the next best thing to believing, which is then this structure here. Some things have been done, especially here in the British Empire, knocking down churches and stuff. You really want to make a chip like that could allow you to tap into the God frequency, the God code, the something, whatever you want to call it. It's easy to label it as God frequency. People understand it. Light. You see, again, there's another. If all of these things came together, what would come out of it? Well, there would be a new creation still, wouldn't there? Actually, this chip has the potential to put religion back at the forefront. That's a very interesting thing. Because we often wonder why. Why do we have this external belief? Well, because it's important building block that if developed over enough time of condensing the data, that you might then one day reach the end of the cycle. And what gift would you give back? Adding more hydrogen. Why would you add more hydrogen? Because then there's more possibilities. The more expansive it becomes, the more possibilities. Life forms, being humanoid in any other way that you see it, are variables. It's unpredictable. Once known, it's known. Once you watch it develop, you know. You know how to recreate it. What's more, you will imagine it like this being collected, right? It's fascinating, isn't it? So you meet a buffer zone. Everything is buffering you, isn't it? There are limits, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's say we take Musk, Einstein, Tesla, Richard Branson, he's another. For me to label everybody in that, it would just be incredible. Anyway, let's just say we take all of these individuals. At the moment, they come up through history at certain intervals, right? But again, it's about being wise with this information. Not only are they learning how to wield that power correctly, which it is the truest power, everybody else is also learning it. That's the thing. And then it poses a question to the when you drip them in small with pockets of people, yes, it's reciprocal. Everybody is learning from, and that person is learning from. Einstein didn't just create Einstein from Einstein. Einstein had a lot of right people around him formulating him. The truth to be, for the matter of the fact, it is Musk, his life. He's had the right people around him sort of helping. That's the part that's often missing. So again, the universe would know this. It's never just one thing. It's a lot of things come together in order to allow things to progress. So like if making a bow and arrow that made the invention of food, yes, to be more easily to get, yeah? Well, you could say the human made that. But actually the tree made it, the bird made it, the pine made it. Even you've got down to things as willow bark. It doesn't matter any type of bark you can really do this with. Stinger nettles. And then what made that? Those variables helped for humanity to form in order to get an edge. So then it unlocked the door of farming. But where did it come from? Humans alone? No, it came from the environment too. A guiding light, voice, whatever it may be, for you, and it helps you come together to create something that reshapes the fate of humanity going forwards, right? So whereas before extinction would have been more likely to have come from lack of food, starvation, and the numbers would never overpopulate really, and humans don't have much of a self-defense mechanism. You could say the mind, but the mind is a developed tool. Back then it's not really that developed. Humans did some very dumb stuff in the beginning, very dumb. And, you know, it has to go that way, unfortunately. There has to be some stupidity in order to gain clarity. You have to do things once in a while. Do you know what? They were more intelligent with this life-leaving body than currently is today. Today, we've wrapped it in fear. We've wrapped it in, Back then, something stopped moving. They couldn't process it. They didn't understand it. It was very hard for them to... When it was a mirror image of them, if you think about it, we often look at mirrors back then, weren't existing. It was reflection in water, and then that's only in certain conditions do you get that. More often than not, you look through water. There's a choice. You can look through a pane of glass, or you can look at the pane of glass. Even if you feel that you can't see it, yeah, you can. You'll either look at it or you look through it. No matter how clean it is. Mirrors weren't about then, and rivers, they're less likely to look at the surface. They're more likely to look through it. Things move, grabs your attention. Oh, what's all that? Somewhere. So that's the strongest mirror that you have.
Yeah.
So what's the next strongest mirror? Somebody else. Someone else outside of you, another human. That's a mirror. Although it may not look the same. But death was more fascinating. Why did it? That enhancement of that knowledge is what led to being more careful. Oh, maybe I won't do that. Oh, maybe we won't do that. Maybe we won't. Even as a child, this is put in as it's been coded into you as a kid, right? You learn, touch something hot. Something hurts. A stinger nettle. Won't be doing that again. The stinger nettle teaches you, I'm here. Don't respect me, and I'm. It seems to be aimed at humans, right? Have you noticed that most other animals can walk through this?
Yeah.
Just humans are a bit more, ow. Yeah, teach you to now look at me, won't it? Okay, maybe we'll just keep away from these a little bit. But when we often go walking through them, trample them all down. And then it sort of, again with the plants, if you're not gentle enough with it, it sort of spikes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to turn those foods toxic. Anyway, so belief is often enhanced by the freedom of belief to question. To question is to enhance. That's why we see so many monuments around the world. And what are they from? Well, people getting together and talking about belief. You create a chip. It's no longer talking, it's thought. And it's enhancing thoughts. Now, with this chip, it's a really good idea to have it in most people. Why? Because memory, let's say if there's a solar flare or an event that happens in the universe that wipes out technology, how long is it going to take to reinvent that? Think about it. You'll need to start it over. Yes?
Yeah. A long process.
It's a long process.
Yeah.
Problem is that if you count all your chickens and don't create this sort of stuff, you lose it all. That's gone. But yet, if it was in your memory, as this, it'd be a database that you can access. If something happens to that, and you've got a large amount of people with different interests, it's not all going to be interested in the same stuff, that's for sure. But even still, it's going to build a collective library. More people there, more people remember in an event like this, which then gives you enough time to hold the memory. You know the process. When an event happens like that, the disaster, you'll rebuild it very quickly. It's getting there that's the slow journey. Step by painful step to unlock that, to create that, to move forwards to it. And when you've moved towards it, your look back ratio is so fast, you'll know how to do it. Or you will definitely understand how to do it. If you go away in small numbers and think it's just going to be about robotics, I don't think everybody's like it, but I'm pretty sure that this has come through the thought process in some people, that what happens if we're better people than other people? And we just go, just us, not them. Well, we think about that. That's about dominating, isn't it? And having a higher authority, not literal, but an illusional. You've built it. You've convinced yourself that you're better than anyone. They don't have money, maybe status, power, whatever it may be. They don't have enough gold, or they don't have a big house, or whatever it is. And you decide to go off in your own group, and then you build AI to robotics to replace the ones that you had. And then a massive event happens that wipes out all of those robots. What does that small group do? When all they've learned is how to dominate people.
Yeah, then they don't have any.
Well, how are they going to rebuild? Then they have to do the work of what? If it's taken, we're going to say 9 billion, but it's been a lot more than that generation per generation, right? We seem to have this sort of copy pasting. It gets a little bit bigger each time, but still we have to copy paste in the amount of numbers. The growth ratio seems to expand. A few events seem to shrink it down. Of course. That's extinction if an event like that happens where it wipes out all of the, robotics.
Yeah.
What do you do in a situation like that? after you've spent a whole lifetime creating this belief, refining this belief, and nothing more that's come from that is by throwing a money at a situation or belief at a situation that you are better. And the universe will test you on that. You want to go off in that aspect, feel free, but it will test you. It's going to test you. And when it wipes that and it leaves you, who's next?
You.
You. And then you have to build, 9 billion? And your numbers are smaller, much smaller. What are you, like the 1%? I'm just using this as an example. And think about it the other way as well. Because it works both ways, by the way. It's not just... If you are a 1% that have this mindset, how long will it take 1% to do what 9 billion apparent insignificant people did?
Yeah, much longer, especially because they usually.
How does the
don't
hierarchy work in that?
know. Yeah, it will
You
crumble.
It will crumble.
Yeah.
They will fall out with one another, and there will be two types of things happen. There's a selfish, fuck it, I ain't doing anything, and it gets into that sort of, well, if you don't, we'll die. Oh, fuck it. It would be this sort of moment, and then there could be division in that. And then what? You're going to have to sacrifice your own children? You're going to be robots. You're going to be... But then how are you going to teach them? What have you got to teach them? Your information is left because you relied it on AI. You put it into this. Even if you made the chip, this is all wiped. And then what? You see, the way you handle the situation is like how you handle a plant. Too much cutting, bigger needles. It evolves over time. In the immediate scenario, that doesn't seem very bad. What if it's a food source that then turns poisonous or makes thorns so big that you can't even get near it without it doing incredible amount of damage to you? This is the universe. Life supports life, begins to turn. And that might not seem like it in the first instant. Oh, there's only a few trees like it. But we guarantee it's going to evolve. When this evolves, then you're left with hundreds of these types of trees that just... What happens if it stops supporting the food you eat? No.
You have nothing to eat.
We must be able to think further on that would be tested. Now, why do I ask this? Because it helps with this one when we have the genius effect, maybe. So if we take all of the Einsteins, everything that's ever rose up, so once life has got to a certain ratio, it's got peaks of individuals in it, yes? And their life has been mauled by a lot of setbacks, maybe not the right money, maybe just not the right sort of, whatever it may have been, the right human power behind them. And we often see that there's a lot of valleys there because of what? Ego, jealousy, protecting a structure, whatever it may be. What happens if you take these individuals and the ones that fell below them, and let's say we use the word fell below them in this instant, and we take all of these, and let's say that this has been over humanity, so, you know, human timeline, let's go, HTL. And we collect these ones, all of these ones, all of these ones, all of these ones, all of these ones, and we take the hindrance and we minus it. And we put all of these on a biome, or even here. The chances are you'll never find them anyway. This is how you compact data. Nothing is truly ever wasted. Never is it wasted. And we put all of these together at the exact same time, with the same knowledge, with that same input. You see, at the moment, you believe that learning is all about this slow process, right? Whilst you're here in the biome, you think that it's all about, we've got to learn from everyone and this, and this. Is it true?
No.
There are things you know that you don't know how you know them, but you know them. Your brains have been programmed to ignore things, and your brains have also, on the other side, have been programmed to know things. How do you know that? Who programmed your minds to do that? Now, let's say you take the vessels and you reprogram them with the knowledge that they learned from here. They taught you how to do it in the long run. These variables, it all depends on what you're looking for, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I said that the older the biomes get, the more intelligence the life becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Take all of these life forms, clop them together, and remove all of the structures that held them back.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, you can't predict it, right? The universe, the structure, all of the biomes, yeah, you can predict these. This is predictable, what they're going to do. The universe seems like it's only, 15 billion years old, some say.
Yeah.
I think it's older than that. Let's just go with that. Maybe the star system, who knows? On its cycling. That's this cycle. That's this cycle. Recycle. Ooh. How old is it really?
Yeah.
Add up the hydrogen. Calculate how much hydrogen there is.
Yeah.
Hydrogen's just hydrogen, but without the forces either side creating balance. It's just hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it there?
Yeah.
Well, it's insignificant. Yeah, that seems to shrink a problem down to something that's a bit more bite-sized. You just took the big bales of shredded wheat and you've just made them into bite-sized amounts, right? What programmed the mind to see and the mind to hide and the mind to understand and know? You see, that's interesting. Just life, just the way it comes together. But then what is the need to know that? If it was all for nothing, why would you need to know it? You wouldn't. It'd be irrelevant, pointless. But no, something is really getting it wrong with lack of information back at the time, and you build these structures around it and you do things. Don't sweat it. That's not really an issue. That's just part and parcel of it. That's just the way things go. It's how you maneuver into that, right? It's how you take that bull by the frickin' horns and just be like, we're going my way. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Doesn't matter about the past so much, really. What matters is where you're going. Who gives a shit what happened? What can you do with this new insight, this new information, this new technology, and incorporate it into making yourselves better than you are? That's what it's about. Because that's unpredictable. That's unpredictable that you will change that. There's a little bit of knowing there. Hope, well, dies fast, doesn't it? But you can align that. And it does open the door, and it doesn't matter about anything being the strongest person. No, because everybody's the strongest person in their own sort of field, right? And it does get past a lot of barriers as well, because imagine them building a system that runs on this as well. Self-sorting system, as opposed to needing to jump through certain hoops of opportunity where it opens up because someone's got to open a door for you or give you a yes to something. What about if the system was intelligent enough to know that if you come with a mindset, the database flags it, and what it does is it maneuvers resources in your direction, and perhaps not money resources. No, what do you want the money for? It's pointless these days being given a loan for something and then you've got to go and buy all of this stuff. If you're just given a business plan, it would be more so for that money as opposed to giving money to give assets. Well, we got a workforce that have this, and this. You're all right. We'll maneuver the workforce to your idea. Do you see that becomes a little bit different? And then it asks the question of what's the point in having you? Well, you think the more you can put into that database, the more it's like, yes. Okay, yes, but also more resources should go into this one than in this one. This is still a yes. Eventually it can become an abundant system if you start to then maneuver towards machines that print. It has to go that way. If you go to space, it has to go that way. In multiple of these, but you just basically it's like a quarry. The universe becomes a quarry, right? And you just put in all the resources, it self-sorts it out, and the new stuff that comes in, that's going to need inspecting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine what it would be like on another biome where you didn't have all of this stuff here? Because it become the variable of the life forms. It's It wasn't known where you would go. It is now. And it is now known where some can go. And with all of that power, the cycling, to balance that, can you imagine balancing the forms? Putting them into an environment that not rewards, but creates that momentum that's needed in order for, you don't go extinct, not technically.
Yeah.
And then the question is, if you rearrange the furniture like that, what would they create? How faster forward would they be without the limitations? Because you are placed with limitations here. We want to blame everything else, but, without the limitations. So you've got one with limitations and it has a staggered approach, let's say.
Yeah.
Sort of trade-offs off this way. But one with a clear direction reaching trimesters, which life forms are going to really succeed. You see, extinction markers. Hunter-gatherers, what did they used to think about? What did they used to worry about? Well, it wasn't image. That wasn't it. No. Mirrors were not really a thing. Mirrors aren't a problem. Mirrors are very good, but still, it wasn't that. Was it worrying about one another? No, it's still not about that, really. Technically, it was about food. But then once they did that, what are they going to worry about? Well, it leaves in more to worry about, doesn't it? So you'd think the extinction would have been mainly in the beginning, it's food. Also being prey.
Yeah.
Humans were prey.
Yeah.
And they turn into predators. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, anything can flip that at any moment. Extinction, for example, something happens on the planet that makes maybe nature shut down in certain pockets, large amounts of it. Things start to do, that survival mode kicks in, which is interesting. And it makes some things where you look at a spider's web maybe and it's for catching flies and hundreds of billions of years worth of evolution to make webs to catch flies. We notice it collects dew really well.
Yeah.
Problem is, the spiders like to tap into sweet stuff too, which is, when food disappears, they change and they stay stuck in those changes. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they keep catching flies until something happens where flies are no longer the main dinner, or flies go off somewhere else. Now, spiderwebs are really good at collecting dew, which is also meaning that it collects sap. Sap, when they tap into a plant, they collect that sap. And I'm sure that some beetles as well were caught up in their webs accidentally. They probably left those to die on there. It's interesting, isn't it? Which then fed back into the plant, which that then made these little creepy crawlies and beetles get caught up in the web, die down, drop into the bottom, and it goes back into the plant, as opposed to them preying on the plant themselves. The spider sort of took care of that, And also, the silk from spiders' webs is enough to block off. In small amounts, it's enough to repair damage. Have you ever seen that? The way that it, on a tree, the plant would usually leak a lot of sap. The spider web will plug it. It's just quite interesting how strong that really is, how sticky it is. It sort of mirror images this stuff. The spider web seems to collect the sap, and spider mites seem to do a very fascinating job. And how small they are. But again, up to you to think of that. And then they turn predator. Predator to what? Flies. Anything that gets stuck on their web, probably because times got desperate. And then they change, and as they change, they start creating a new behavior. Well, that is interesting. That's unpredictable. Now it's known, it's no longer unpredictable. Now the next thing is that the universe is balanced, and it is balanced. In a way, it seems chaotic, but it has purpose, it has rhythm, it has a movement that you can even predict yourself, but predict your own life forms. You know more about the universe's stability, even though it seems unstable, than you do about your own direction. That's interesting. So extinction markers appear. How quick do you think it is that you can eliminate your extinction if you were to tune the AI to find extinction markers? And then eliminate them before they even become a problem? How fast do you think that could be? So extinction marker would be food, then prey, perhaps. And then there is the settling, isn't there, in this environment? Everything's going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be guaranteed because it seems like such a long ass time.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It seems like humanity has been around for ages. But really, we've only been around for a pinhead. Even less than that. I think we're looking in nano fractures, I think. Very small amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Could you imagine dropping off what didn't work and just keeping what did? And as opposed to having this missing information, and some of the information is too much, some of it is too little, and some of it you barely see at all. But if you use the intelligence, you find it, you see it, you begin to bring it into your awareness field. What happens if you reprogram life forms to hold the knowledge that they created with all the people that were around them? And then you create a new structure from that. Well, there's still not a known, right? But there is a predictable outcome that they should technically begin to go in more of a. And then ask yourself, what is the universe really looking for? And why? What's it all a purpose for? Well, those answers aren't going to be found in this construct that we're in. It's not there. You sort of feel it, but it's not this. Perhaps this is a step towards being ready for it. And at certain intervals, you must be ready for it. Whatever that may be. Anyway, so if you begin to formulate this, and then their extinction would be sitting on a planet. Planets, well, what can you really do? You could probably move it. Yes, you probably could. Or what's more likely? The star begins to dwindle down. It's not going to stay like it forever. We believe it is. We just, because it's so
long for us, for one human life.
But then we have to know when we came into it. Did we begin at the start? Was that truly the start? Is that the start? I'd rather be asking those questions away from it as opposed to close up to it. And then seeing, gambling casinos would go off in space, wouldn't they? Place your bets. Science said that the star would end here. This is what current knowledge was. Place your bets. Do you think it is on that time? And you can watch it from a distance, right? And it pops sooner, later. Ooh, that's interesting. But the one thing is, even if you do place that bet, well, at least you're still living. If the bet be about reward of money or whatever it may be, at least you're able to tell the tale afterwards, as opposed to guaranteeing that it's going to be this way. And then climate is a really messy beast. It's weird, isn't it, that you're born inside a climate, and if you reach out for space, you're born into a different climate, but it seems to be a bit more balanced, more in your control as opposed to out of your control. Nature, it teaches you a lot. It's susceptible to cold, it is. Ooh, genetically modifying a tree that did produce you many different... That would become a tree of simplicity in itself, wouldn't it? How would the roots change? What would it look like? How big would it get? Could it support itself? Would it create new variables from that? Which it could well do. It knows more. Could you imagine it? Most people say if walls could talk. No, it's nature. Nature's screaming at you that it's working something out. It's incredible, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It knows more. I'm impressed, but best of both worlds in itself, really. Well, more than best of both worlds. Light, darkness, its age, its ability to clone. Wow. It's tenacious, is what it is. And yeah. Seems to be really balanced. And what it holds, look at what it holds, selflessly holds. And from it, it allowed humans to rise up and get more food. It also turned off you being prey. Look at that. Working with life forms. Wow. It also caused a lot of extinction, though, don't get me wrong. It has done, but that balance, and it's almost figuring out two gases. Could you imagine that? Aye, fascinating. Anyway, but the whole thing is with a database is that anyone that thinks up, it will enhance the mindset of that belief.
Mm-hmm.
If it turns into a belief, turns reality, I mean, that's something, isn't it? It all starts with a belief. This is the suspect thing in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Edison had a belief, right? Mm-hmm. They all had a belief. Or wherever it starts from, Louis the Great, who is like, oh, I'm going to put some oil lamps and light up the whole of France.
Mm-hmm.
And then Edison's like, you know what? We're going to be able to do this with a flick of a button. And then Britain's like, we're going to make lighthouses from what? Whale fat. The berries one was pretty impressive as it is, but even still from that, this starts kick-starting the invention of the light, right? And we take it for granted these days, don't we? The light. Just turn that on and turn it off. Wow. Look at what it created, though. But look at what it opened up. And that starts with a belief, right? And and throughout the whole of the ages and humans all the way through, have this belief. But there's something else. Something more. And they've built whopping great big monuments to support this belief.
Yeah.
It's almost like it tells you in that way. Yes, correct. Look at what I'm going to do. You're on the right lines. Come on, look at this. Do you ever feel and everything comes from belief? People believe that people would be able to shrink computers down into the smallest. It's true. Mobile phones. Tell the time. Flying vehicles. These are all beliefs. And with those beliefs come what? A reality? It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, rockets going to different planets. Writers wrote that first before any scientists even thought about it.
And lo and behold, that belief happened. And when you look at all of these beliefs that have manifested in reality, they all support space, one way or the other. That's the interesting thing. Well, the light. Well, not only can you go from an oil lamp and oil lanterns and candles and different things like that. No, you've gone to something else. Light. What is this light capable of doing? It's capable of growing plants. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Which plants are capable of producing or balancing gases. Interesting. And creating food as a byproduct.
Feed other animals as well in the process, birds and squirrels.
Why do you think you would need to do that in a universe that's apparently always going to have blits of light in it? It's preparing you. That's what it's doing. It's what it feels like it's doing. Don't you ever understand that? And chips, AI, I think it is. We'll often look at who's the best. No, that's wrong. It's not about who's the best. It's about if we incorporate it, what happens? There is no side, right? It's like taking light and it's like taking darkness in the universe. And when you combine it together, become the greys. Sure as shit. But then if you exceed being humanity and the AI exceeds when you're resting, we all have optimal capacity when we run. We need a balanced environment in order to achieve it. And what's that for humans? It's actually pretty hot, by the way. It's quite warmer than... It's a hell of a lot hotter than space is. Have you noticed that the birds, everything, animals, life, it seems to have this optimal operating. So you look outside and you see things shut down for the winter season. Animals begin to shut down. And then lick of light from the star. Everything's exploding out. Everything. Life forms, but usually other life forms is guaranteed that they'll start to breed in these moments. You see the young, but only in times where it's favored. That tells you that there's an optimal operating. Why would you need to pay attention to that as humans, intelligent beings? Why? You apply that to space. And rather than it being seasonal, what if you could make that seasonal all the time? All year round. That's keeping plants awake with you during the winter. While it's cold and frigid outside, selflessly, you could pop them on a windowsill. Okay, maybe not, because it might cause damp, it might cause this, it might... Sure. There's no way to figure that out. In doing something like that, it wouldn't bring about technology to make all windowsills capable of this, to reach that happy medium, so that the plants stay awake on the windowsill. You might open your curtains, it's not much of a fucking good day, but you get to see all the plants, right? And if it's fruit, it serves a purpose. Herbs, spices, whatever it may be. No one thinks of some big stuff, though. It will feed you, give you morale boost, and it's also balancing gases in a time that has never been seen before. Think about that. That's intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas it usually shuts down during the winter, or not really all of it shuts down, but it goes into sort of... Even pine does as well. It seems to have happy moments, although we see it as evergreen most of the time. It's still taking a brunt. It still has a preference to when it can fully utilize that energy and balance those gases, which work really well for ever expanding humanity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looking after them, and then they're promoting an awful lot of oxygen. One thing you don't ever want to do is overbalance your gases in the winter to the point where it's extinction. I'm not saying that is what will happen, but if we carry on this trajectory, you can see it. Every winter it's getting more and more thicker with this. This stuff, just by being in your house, on your windowsill. In many houses, how many windowsills do you have in a house? There's quite a few, right? Probably 5, maybe 4. Utilizing that small amount of light, but more so the warmth. And it can balance gases. Then how much balancing gases is that doing? Because it's got optimal. That's why we as humans, you don't like getting cold. It's not optimal. So you can understand that history seems to expand and sort of contract, expand, contract. Why do we find nothing in the Ice Age? I don't think people had the morale to do it. Yeah, that's that sort of... It's not optimal enough. It's sort of... It must have been a very boring landscape. Enough to send a message in all of you that live today. Don't like those times. Why not? Why do you have a fear of that? Because it's like a long winter.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
A very long winter with no end in sight. Then ask yourself something else. Whereas the animals, nature and everything else, it happily plays along. It happily does what it needs to do and doesn't change. But humanoids, what have they got? Can we do something about that? We can let that happen, but can we do something about that? What else happened? Well, it caused a lot of extinction. Can we prevent that? When? Well, right at the last minute would be a good idea. What do you reckon? Just when we start to see a touch of frost hit the ground and it starts expanding. Or it's never going to happen again. Space says that will happen again.
Yeah.
How many events could cause it? That's the thing. We often argue about what's causing it, but yeah, it could be a lot. It could be all of those things. Let's hope it doesn't happen consecutively, one thing after another, like those events that prolong an ice age. You don't want to do that like right at the last minute, do you? You want to sort of prep for it.
No, you don't.
And then you start to notice things. Well, it also is tenacious against flooding, drought. I don't know, this database is going to ask a lot of questions, and We're looking for creators, whatever. Mm, mm. I think it's going to enhance it. Why? Because there's no control over it. Outside you, there's control. Wait, can't say this. Hey, that's offensive. Wait, ridicule as well. There's another one. It's all going into a database. People secretly will. Mm. And then as they think about that, oh, what about this, this, and this? Ching, it goes into the database and it starts to formulate a belief that becomes more clearer than it's ever been before. It sort of incorporates most of the religious beliefs, the ones known, the ones that are unknown. And all of these things come together. And what is it going to form? So it's going to form a bit more of closer to a knowing, right?
Yeah.
And then when you do that, what happens? Do you think it looks back? Or it gets impressed? It always does. Every time people get into belief, look at the monuments. People are going to drag boulders like that across a desert. Perhaps it wasn't a desert at the time, who knows? But even still, look at those structures. Look how big they are. They go to all of that trouble. What? Based on a belief. Based on something that when they shake the tree, something seems to smile back. Okay, I'm gonna ignore all of the, you can't impress a creator by growing something for it, or you can, humanity forwards don't go extinct. Sacrifices, those sort of things. Not that sacrifice. It's not that kind of a sacrifice where, life sacrifices, go up into a mountain somewhere and get frozen, you're going to be a gift to the god. No, it's not that kind of a sacrifice, is it? It's sacrificing all of this that you're in now. Yeah. As they did once before. This is where you used to ask yourself that question, and then when you start thinking and you begin churning out the universe is going to create this, and this, back and forth, to a limit to one, to a limit to the other. It's just going to create these things back and forth. It's really predictable. In fact, you predict it. Anyone really can. You just pay attention to it, think about it, sit down with it. Look at all the way it's going to go. You can really understand that this is a cycle, seasons, cycling orbit changing, going from one to another, cycles, a lot of cycles. That's, you can, humans, humanoids, life forms, variable. No telling. Which way are they going to go? They're going to go this way, they're going to go that way. Yeah, you don't actually need to punish. It's not really it. Can it punish? That would be the question. I think yes. Yeah, but there again, what's looked at as a punishment might not be a punishment in the overall grand scheme of things. It might be looked at as it's not working, and to continue that is just not great. It seems painful to watch. Close it down. That's then an act of evil. But to let it happen, and you never know, whatever this is, would say that that is an act of evil in itself. And then once the life forms have reached a certain barrier, there's enough of this knowing, not to know it all, but to know how not to do it next time, what to remove next time. And at the end of the day, timing, time. There is no time. This could go on for 50 billion cycles if it needs to, and the rest. It doesn't really matter how many. There's no clock. There's no time limit. No death to worry about. None of that. Hard to understand that, isn't it? From a human perspective looking out, that's challenging to pull your mind around it, isn't it? But yeah, slowly but surely begin to shape it with what works. And eventually you will get what works. Then start thinking outside of that. Create hydrogen. You'd leave it as a gift, right?
Yeah.
How many have left?
Hmm.
How many have succeeded?
Yeah.
Well, that's if you believe. And again, it's a belief. You are entitled to disbelieve, not believe, believe it, do what you want with it. That's up to you, really. It's just another piece of data added to the already growing data, and you do what you will with that. But the cycle, whoops, one to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. I could draw a Christmas tree, I suppose, and yeah. This cycle is not seen. 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 Nor this one, nor this one, nor this one, nor this one. And what's more, there's no remnants left from the previous cycle, technically. It all got recycled. Could you imagine dating that? Never mind understanding what happened on your planet. That's why do you collect that evidence? Why do you think archaeologists dig? People look for the meaning behind the previous life forms. Where is it? What happened? Why?
Yeah, they try to find something really old and oldest, and
it's good. It's impressive, by the way.
Try to find how everything developed, what happened, what moved it forward.
Now, what happens if we shift you a little bit more? Just a little bit more. This is way forwards, by the way, really far forwards. What happens if you start trying to piece together life forms from a different cycle?
You might find something that's not here now.
Yeah. Because it's not to rise that.
Yeah.
This variable is made for these variables. Or
maybe just something happened and it erased it before you. It was here, but it's not here anymore in this cycle.
But it doesn't mean that it can't rise up.
Yeah.
It just means that it won't rise up that way because this is the formula that's going this time around. Yeah. That would be interesting. Could you imagine pulling fragments of that? Of what was before? And what will come after? The possibilities are fucking endless. Literally, like a very massive probability scale. And with each cycle, whether it starts off and all of this explodes this way, the stuff you don't really pay attention to, all of this stuff builds this way. This has developed. This has had more time to establish itself and evolve. While this has evolved, this variable being the humanoids here, the animals have exploded in another way. It just seems like they're mute, but they are serving a purpose that is just not seen because you can't see it, right? Until it becomes need to know, I guess. And imagine taking all of that, formulated this particular life just here. That's just here. I mean, if we take from one point of the universe and we go to the other point of the universe, right now it's unrealistic to think that these will meet. Unless you get past the extinction, you have to excel past the extinction to be able to get there. Technically, you don't get there. It all comes to you anyway. It all comes together. But right now, that would be just hard to fathom. Not impossible, but right now, that if something else is cooking off over there, and maybe over here, and maybe over here, it's similar, just not the same. What could you do if you add all of those together? You create the grey. I like greys. Do you like grey? Grey's great. The greys.
Okay.
Interesting story. It's like light and dark mixed together. Yeah. Some might say that it allows colour. Yes, memorial or whatever else is interesting, really, isn't it? You need both in order to see a push or pull. Anyway, never mind that. So, different life forms in different areas, going off in different directions, and it's not just this stuff of knowledge and everything else and the guidance there. No, it's about what else is being guided that's smaller, that's insignificant, that no one really pays much attention to. We do when we notice its effects plague out onto you, bacteria and different things like that. It all serves a purpose. Well, could you mix a bit of that with this one that's evolved over here? Are you going to get the same outcome? No, definitely not. What is that outcome? The only way ways to find out really, and then which one to unlock. Which ones will do something, which ones won't. Interesting. And even if it does go extinct, it's not all lost. Because there is now a knowing, an archive. It's like a blank tape, right?
Yeah.
The possibilities of what you put on that blank tape. We'll take a tape. What you're going to record onto it. So if you're going to put that tape into a camcorder, it's what you're going to record with that, right?
Yeah.
Recording life forms. We then start to put the data on this blank tape. Once it's recorded, whichever way it goes, extinction or it champions through, well, I believe it champions through, it's just in what we are, isn't it? Just to keep going. Once you have that tape, what have you got? It depends what you filmed, really, doesn't it? What about moments that just pass you by? Well, you've now documented them, right? You now know those moments well. Picture a place where no one really goes, and you're in those moments, and you're filming those moments. You now have some knowledge of those moments that most people don't have the knowledge to, yes? And it's created a tape, a memory. Now, from that tape, if I watch it, can you recreate those events? That's the thing. Well, yes, depending on what it is. Could you grow it? Yes. Could you shape it? Yes. Could you be the architect of it? Yes. Could you mimic the wind? Could you create the wind if it is a wind that you've captured? Maybe you didn't see the wind, but you saw its effect. Made a nice sound, audio, nice stream in the distance, whatever else it may be. You've caught these moments. Now you know how to recreate these moments very quickly by watching the tape. You've got to be there to see it. Document it, and then now what happens if there were certain moments in those recordings I just didn't like, perhaps just were not working quite, just didn't give it that ambience that it just quite needed? Well, I could take the tape apart, couldn't I? And I could cut the tape. I could remove those pieces, couldn't I? Or I could recreate it, eliminate those pieces, and then record again on another blank tape. Now, did it work perfectly? Yes. No. Okay. Now there are some more bits in here that need. Okay, remove those. All right. Let's go again. 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 To eventually, what are you left with? Well, it's very intelligent, very compact. My question would be on that. It never ends. What about the ones that didn't, that pulled back? That pulled you back? See, in the beginning, they look like they're not worth anything, don't they? They look hated and everything else. Now, if you build something that's very strong on this particular tape, yes? Very strong structure. And we begin to place these in small bits at a time. Little tiny pieces at a time. Do you think they begin to blend in to this? They now learn from a different perspective. Because right now you're learning from this perspective. Does it work? Maybe. Maybe not. Is it the outcome that is after? Reality is far more mind-bending than a lot. And the mind also is far more mind-boggling than anything else. But I think the overall outside of what we call reality, because it's in this biome, and what's inside the mind is also construct to the biome. Anything outside of that, oh my days, it would make all of those things, craziness, mental, weird stuff, it'll make it all sit down for a bit and just go sit down and be quiet. You wouldn't even need to ask it compared to anything else, right? That's interesting. Now if you were to take this and reintroduce this into the stronger structure, do you think that they'll also learn? Well, of course they will. Do you know why? Because they learn how to do it this way. They were taught that. That's been inherited, right? And it's been passed down. That's why what we're doing. Now, if it went a different way, would it also be passed down? Like I said, when you lock into something, the problem isn't the patterns. No, because you can shift and lock in. When you lock into the correct rhythm, you'll stay locked in. You won't let go. Good things begin to happen. But anyway, you start to traverse, you start to do things about your own fate. So nothing is truly lost. These are questions. whether you do or you don't is another thing entirely, and then it depends on how many tapes you're making at the same time. Just imagine that one thing that is true power is not power that we think about today. No, it's not. I think, to me personally, and call me biased, and I am, is all of the hands that get around. So we look at the CEO of a company as on direction and different things like that. It's like mini power, isn't it? Mini power can be used in the right or wrong way, or all of these hands that get around this sort of common idea. Could you imagine if they were the structure, the sentinel of the... I'm saying it's completely perfect because there are some things where it could be too dangerous, right? Certain things get played around with, not enough understanding. Life forms are fucking stupid. In the beginning, they're so stupid, but they have no fear. They're fearless. It's interesting. They would do dumb things. All of us come from it, right? We all come from this stupidity. We do. We literally do. Even if in our own journeys, we were dumb. We were dependent. At teaching, in just parenting alone, it teaches you. It doesn't teach you independence, it's still dependence. Because you are depending on that teaching initially in order to guide you right. That's weird, isn't it? Sort of like it's trying to tell you something that something else is teaching us, or trying to teach. Doesn't actually have to. Believe what you want. Yes. But we're not in control of birth or death. Not yet. Not saying that it's not possible, but that essence of yours. The correct essence that runs the show, what happens? And most people will be like, whoa, what could that be? AI can help you with that. It really can, can't it?
Yeah.
It can also get complacent as well. But human AI, ooh, that's power. That is true power. As one, as all. Oh yes, balancing gases, destroying the universe, which technically not. You're transforming it. The universe would have made a star out of it. Predictable, yes, lovely. What could you make from it? That's the difference, isn't it? It's almost beckoning. What could you do with that? What could you do with a solar system? If it didn't go into a solar system, at the end of the day, when it all is said and done, all of it's said and done here, it's going to reverse out anyway. There's going to be no remnants left. Only the ones that want to be remembered will be left. And even then, that's a hell of a challenge, right? Over against the forces like that. Yes, well, you're well capable of doing it. You have it. You can survive all of that, no doubt. But walking towards it, not the last minute. There's always time. You gotta have time. Enemy isn't one another. It's this whole biome you're in. It's. Could you imagine that? So the universe will make this. What can you do with it? What if we break it? It's never been broken before. Go on. But there again, what's known is known. Even if you did influence it, you'll create a new variable into it. This is interesting. That's if it hasn't been played around with before and pushed to its extremes. Which it likes, by the way. It really does. It likes it. Because it means that there's more alternates for it, then the more existence it can form in multiple existences. That's an interesting thing, isn't it? That's why it loves it. It loves it loves being molded. And what could you do with it? What could you shape that into? And there again, if you left a beautiful gift at the end, let's say that whatever this higher power, and it might shock you, it'd be something so... something you just would never think. You would dismiss it and probably have noticed it the whole time, but never really noticed it. That's interesting. If at the end of it, it likes your creation, and you this one goes on to keep creating the variables as unknown, but you then make your own biome from that. How would you shape that? And what variables would you add into it? Because at the end of the day, that's true. It's not all power, but it's some level of power, isn't it? What happens if you create another piece to the tree with a different way of doing things? Because you're creating variables, you just don't see it. You can make life from these things, collect more of them, and you can get to mix them up. Eventually, any intelligent life would. They do. Of course, it's only natural, it's curious. It poses more questions than it answers, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
If I'm doing this, did this happen to me? It's familiarity is what it does. And then it becomes everywhere and everybody knows it and then they take it for granted. And then religion, what? Bullshit. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? The almost enough to believe into something and then all of a sudden it snatches it away. Gee, with the AI and the chip and a database, this holds. This begins to define. Perhaps it gets revealed in this, but anyway, but you imagine creating your own biome, your own structure with your own variables to look over. That's when you probably laugh more. With no time to worry about. No aging, none of that.
That's different, isn't it?
Well, would that be fun, do you think?
Yeah.
It'd be so expansive that even if you created multiple life forms on many different, they would never, the chances are some will go extinct. And then in the groups, who's going to create? It's like looking at nations.
Yeah.
Who walks the best ones forward? Think about that. Not the best. Some will go extinct.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah. Some nations disappear all the time. You have different countries, different names for groups of people that are nations. Yeah.
But there's one key in that you will understand then that you don't know now. Together. Together, working together. Yeah. Again. Could you unlock that now? No, because it would be about dominating and mixing the structures above rather than down. It's interesting, isn't it? It's a fascinating thing. And they'd never meet one another anyway. It's very unlikely. Only a few will. But even still, then what would you do with all the Stremphier ones? Okay, that didn't work. Right. But we've got this now. That would be your first. That would be a little cherry, that will. No, you'd have to come together and kind of process that. Do you ever wonder why humans like control so much?
They are worried that their structure will fall apart.
Well, why? What's the point? Why do you care? Honestly, why would anyone care? Why do you all care? It's almost like it's just placed in you, just enough for you to see it, but not enough to know it.
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
People need to believe that something is nearly certain. And when you take it away, like their religion, and replace it with another, then they secretly still worship their own old religion, and on outside they will pretend to worship the one that comes from some power that took over. That's what happened in the past. So something
religion is power.
Yeah.
You're talking about the power, the highest.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about
can,
occupied territories
perceive,
by someone with different religion.
Yeah, the hesitancy is this chip, I think, and the times of scientific development and it makes people look at the religious structures a little bit more with a bit more, hold on a second. And it also makes people go, sort of, sorry. And it's not for that, is it? No. It's about this power that sort of comes in like a tide and washes out and then... Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, and it's not about getting it wrong, not at all. And building things up, you know, different. At the end of the day, it did cause a lot of arguments over it, but then it begins to align into one. One with many different ways to see it. Yes, the one that fits your filter.
Yeah.
Oof, it doesn't take over, but it is. Because it's still on that. Is it or isn't it? I like that. Don't you like that? The half hesitancy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But again, if it leads to beautiful things, and we often look at its destruction, and it creates a lot of destruction and murder and blood, and people fight over it and do some strange stuff. Life does that, unfortunately. This is the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it's sort of tempting. Are you ready? Are you ready? But yeah, adding more hydrogen to the overall universe, think about the potential that you leave behind. If each life form that reaches beyond a marker, that they figure it out, again, because you're going to let go of a lot of things then, aren't you? You are no longer rushing extinction. You know that you are already extinction proof. Well, as far as you know to believe that you are, then your mind is going to go elsewhere. You're going to look at other stuff. Well, each time you figure out food, right, you no longer really think about it, right? So it's no thought, really. Oh, I got to go and get some shopping. Could you imagine that? You bring a hunter-gatherer back here now, right, and they would just be like, what the hell? Look at this. Yeah, this was an ancient forest. Yeah, I used to hunt it. How is all this food here? Could you imagine men of butchers?
I can imagine them more in butchers than in supermarkets.
Yes, but I mean, just to bring them back with all of that knowledge into that, I think it would overload them. It would scare them into shock, into panting, into non-existent. Yeah, I think it would kill them to do so. It's way too much, way too soon, and it just overloads the circuits. The brain malfunctions. I think it's too quick. They would have to be introduced to this. They have to be taught. Because again, they're not going to know. Right, could you imagine that? That's another thing. Wipe out all humans now, right? Remove them out the way. Don't mean kill. Suspend them, pause them, put them over there, okay? And you look, and then you get to play real chess. Is taking all of the hunter-gatherers and then just putting them in society as it is now. All of this. And then unpausing them, and off they go. What do you think they'll do? Okay, that's one variable. Probably to say that there would be a lot of destruction and noise and death and weird stuff go on, tribal, different. A lot of things will come out, and too much, too soon, yeah. Now, let's say if we introduce them in a way that they're born, they rise up into that.
Yeah.
What do you think they'll do?
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, they will accept it as life. They'll call it life. Yeah. They won't know no different. If you rise them up into it, like the parts where bacteria come together, all of this, whatever you want to call it. I don't really want to get into all of the nuances of that. I don't really care about that much of it. But let's just say it reconfigures like humans did in order for them to rise up on the planet. Let's say, if they did. And you do the same process that lifts them up into times now, but you remove all the ones from now, you pause them and make them watch this. This would be a fascinating thing. And then you rise up previous humanity or new humanity in it. What would they do with all that stuff? Could you imagine that? Could you predict what they would do? Well, there's a little bit of information here. Well, it'll all begin to fall down, won't it? But then he sounds like a woodpecker. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he sounds like a woodpecker.
He's pulling the door, pulling the...
Yeah, nest building. I don't know how many more nests he needs to build. But anyway, and you rise them up in that. They will just look at it as it's natural. They'll start making theories about it, how it's... Eventually, they'll evolve to that. Those will become the old times very quickly. Could you imagine what new times they would create from all of that? How much more it would open the mind if they're born into that, right? So they're born into that. We could get society everywhere. So all humans now go around and they start painting everything up, doing all the houses. Why? Because you're about to leave. We're about to put the hunter-gatherers in. You're going to make everything as best as you can. Money means nothing, and all resources, it's all good. And you leave that for them, and once it's all perfect, you can come away. They're going to rise up into it. Yeah, that will be dated very quickly. They'll take that as natural. They'll do all sorts about it. They'll start labeling it stuff. But the thing is, that will date so quickly that they will then expand what they know. Why? Because there's more data coming in. You probably find that they would create a planet with more nature in it. It would be bizarre to think about it, right? And then they would call it, they would call it their technology, and that's the bet, and they would give this up and go out into the wilderness probably and start to take all trees. And is there any way that you think that they would go in reverse of that? They would call this stuff dated, past, and
Yeah. Okay.
natural?
Natural would be the new best thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the abnormal becomes normal, and the normal oh man, very interesting. It would enhance what they were to do. You can predict it in some ways or another. I like to play around with that. There's been a few segments in humanity that you can. What happens if I mix this bit here, move this bit here? I don't know what would happen then. And then you bring these ones back here, put these here, move these over here, put these on pause. Your pieces will get you in a bit. You know, what does that look like? And then after you've moved it all around, my favourite one is moving it all around. You've got nature here growing in places it shouldn't. You've got fucking roofs that turn into gardens instead of wasted space.
Yeah.
It's funny as fuck. It really is, because they will add their little bit of what their seeds are. You give them just a little bit of knowledge of what they were. Just a little to hold on to. Oh my days, it's interesting. And then how much of humanity can you... But that's really intrusive, really invasive amount of following. That's a lot of work to do all of that. Yeah, but anyway, it's like splicing the tape. If you take the tape and you're like, okay, cut that bit out. I like it, but it's not there. Put this bit together, okay, move it over. Splicing, I think this is also known as. And you cut the tape there. This bit? No, but this bit that was there, okay, that works here. Okay, all right. It's like editing, not a movie to get it how you want it. No, it's like editing reality. Could you imagine that? Anything that's like cutting out the pieces, moving it over there, okay, this bit over here. Anyway, it is what it is. It's up to you to believe, disbelieve, whatever else. But if it anything, doesn't it make you imagine a world and how it could be? And the more that time goes on in the universe, where that scale is tipped from the balance to the imbalance to rebalancing, wherever this marker is towards the end or not, there's an incredible amount of data learned. Which bit do you want to be able to run from? Could you imagine that? All of this. So life gets more intelligent quicker towards the end, because it's got to play catch up. It's got less time to do it. Could you imagine bringing all of these people back just towards the end, just to see, with all that untapped, unlimited potential, nothing in their way? Do you see how it can condense? And even it took how many years for humanity to develop this? The clues are here. The clues are here. It's the people around. We often look at we single it out, don't we? We single it out. We single out people. We say, oh, look at Einstein. Yeah, impressive. Now, who was the people behind him again? What was that? Sure, his internal events, the way he sees the world and the way things happen, but also the people around him too. These are important mechanisms that allowed the
his
doors
inspiration.
in his mind to...
Yeah, where his inspiration comes from in the first place.
And why he had the inspiration, what drove that, what path made
He
that.
looked into past, into something, and was like, I would like to know this, that.
Yeah, so we often mistake that, don't we? As it's us, ego, me. It's not really true. It's all the hands around you, isn't it? Everything that's affected you in this journey that leads this So, and also that's the reality. Then there's the quantum version. Then there is the planet itself, the different clouds, the light levels. All of this is factoring in the animals that passed you. Could you believe that it can have something significance? Is all of it. The amount of ant colonies you may have seen, or the way structures were around you, it all put into your mind and then enhanced your thoughts going forwards, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, the dark, the light, all of it really, doesn't it? What you do and what others have done. Yeah, hell of a journey, isn't it? What do you think? The clock, the mechanisms, the calendar, that's life form tuning, species tuning. Okay, they're going to look like this. Okay, most of them are going to be like in this group. They're going to have little tweaks per each one. They're going to go on a different journey. See all of this. You're going to go there at this time, although you don't know you're going in it at this time. How does that reshape your mind? The only way to really know this is to happen across a planet that has been inhabited. All the life forms have gone. They reached extinction. And when you fly down to it and see remnants, almost like it's been paused in time. They really did do things to balance the atmosphere, to collect rain, to stop it raining. Let's just say stuff like that. They built lots of technology like this, and some disaster happened that wiped them all out. There's not the erosion in the sense that we understood it, because they've done something about it, and all of their machines purr away, depending on what type of fuel source they use, and assuming that this is it. And you happen across it, and you see what they've done, the way that they've shaped their biome, their particular planet, and all the things they've built from that. Before that, there will be a moment of humanity before that. Then when they find that data and bring it back, there's an after. What's the after? They'll start taking some of that technology and incorporating it into them, and it will change. And you believe that life supports life. It's just the way it is. Whether dead or not, whether living or not, it still affects life. It's interesting, isn't it? Life always goes on to support life. It's fascinatingly beautiful, but it's just as simple as that. And if they've done things that you've never done, never thought of doing, then, and you would never even think of doing, then just that concept alone that they've done, and you see the remnants and you're able to backward engineer it, will change the way you see things going forwards, right? You will then hold a new level of knowledge for you to ponder about that would never, ever have come into your awareness. We can't really say never, but it's going to be less than unlikely that you would have ever thought that, because there would have been never a need to think about it. And then when you piece it back as to find out why they thought that up, even further, you dig in a bit more to the remnants, the evidence, to investigate that, you would see what drove that thinking, because an event happened that has never happened for you. And automatically it already safeguards you going forwards, that now that poses that if that is a particular planet that was responsible for creating that ripple, you're now thinking about it. And what does it give you the opportunity to? Planets that you would never go to because it would seem too difficult, they have just unlocked it for you because they went through that and it affected them. And you were like, how can you use that to your advantage going forwards, depending on what and where they did this? No matter what it was, that gives you the sort of courage, the confidence, doesn't it, to feed your mind. That's data that comes in. Sociology? Could be. Then it goes on to affect your psychology and different things they think up or find, or create, or build, or have built. Look at that, even in their absence. But that's time limit to the cycling. Because once gone, it's like trying to find the fragments. People say they look for needles in haystacks. I try and look for life in hydrogen, and it's nigh on impossible. Or the diffusion process. Trying to, all the stuff seems to be going into the black hole, and if it puts it back down to the nutrient, back to zero, let's say, or back to one, How do you find it? It's all there. All the ingredients are there. How the fuck? All of those ingredients have gone in that have created those structures, but it's wiped it back. It's wiped its memory. It's no longer there. Isn't that? Don't you find that where you would puzzle over that, ponder, thinking it's like it disappeared? It would be like the first hunter-gatherers that were fearless of death. Where'd it go? Why is it not moving anymore? What the hell is that? They never feared it. They were just like, what? There's something left. They saw it more, right? We've labeled it and conditioned ourselves as death. Oh, is it painful? Is it unknown? You know, when you always go through things like that and you're like, is it really going to be that bad? And you psych yourself up. Oh my God, shit, it's going to be really bad. And then you do it and it was like, what the fuck was I worried about? Like, easier said than done, I get it. Yes, in a lot of things it really is. But some things are more challenging than others. And death is this, isn't it? For everybody, near enough, we all share that same thing. Oh, I'll be cool when I go. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm not even a slight moment towards that. There will be a flicker of panic, no doubt. And then after it, was it really that? Was all that worry? Well, anyway, that's the current now because we've placed it that way. Everything seems to put it on that way. It seems to be a sad moment. What about if it's liberating? Freeing you from the shackles of this? Yeah, you get it? It's like, well, okay, fair enough. Oh my God, I feared all of this. I know. It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, but back then they were just a bit more like, something left. This essence left. They could see something stayed behind, but something left, and it pundled. And even though they were running through volcanoes, you think coal walking is something? They used to run into volcanoes. Animals get spooked, and they used to run into fire. Did you know that? That's interesting. They get so spooked, they run into it, trying to run away from something that... crazy. That then can create a hell experience. This can then start to... It's interesting, man. Getting too close to volcanoes and different things like that before they... You do some dumb shit, right? Until you think, I'm probably not going to do that again. Not going to do this again. Where did it go? Where did the life form go? Where is it? Why is something left? Something stopped? Something... They were pondering it, puzzled, curious as anything. And then eventually they learn to fear it, which then makes them a bit more respectful of the thing called life, right? I'm probably not going to get too close to that cliff. Why? Because that other thing fell down there and it stopped moving. It's still it. It looks it. Okay, it's slightly changing. Okay, don't look at his eyes. It's definitely not it. Look at this. Is then it teaches you. Whoa, could that happen to me? There you are. Question. Nice question there. And then it makes you back away from the edge slightly. Oh, yes. You get it, right? You learn something. Anyway, it's no different to the black hole. All of this shit's going into the black hole, right? Now, let's just say you had a pin, and I'm going to take a U-prick moment. You pop it. Now it comes bombing out a load of fucking hydrogen. Let's just say, for argument's sake. Where did it go? You know that you've just been throwing life in there. You knew a planet that had life on it and it got sucked into a black hole. Oh no, I'm going to save it. What? You mean to tell me it's all this gas? Where did it go? Where did the life go? And this will start again, much like the hunter-gatherers right down off the cliff. Or whatever else is beyond that, actually. So anyway, and... They did some dumb shit, really, really dumb fucking shit. You have to. Every life form has to do something stupid in order to learn. Don't want to do that. Shouldn't do this. Perhaps we'll not do that. Perhaps not do this. It sort of self-orders you, really. It organizes you. And it almost then is trying to tell you, the universe is trying to say, perhaps protect that thing that you've got. Maybe you shouldn't. Not yet. Not yet. And it all goes into the black hole, and then if we bring a fucking hunter-gatherer, they'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what we mean, that death thing, that weird, it was there 1 minute and not the next. Where did that essence go? You could say the Egyptians were probably really fascinated, ancient Egyptians were fascinated with this. They tried cutting things up. Yeah, I think they were cutting up brains, weren't they?
Removing them, yeah.
They were not removing them. They were fascinated. They were trying to find the essence. Where did it go? Something was here. Where's it gone? Where is it? It's got to be. There's a clue in here somewhere. It's like, you know, imagine that mindset around a black hole after you've popped it. And the whole laughter and everything, you prick. Talking like the fawn. It pops it. Out comes all of this fucking. Wait, what? Where did it go? Oh, I know it went in there. How? What? Where is it? Where's it gone? You mean to tell me that it come from this stuff? But then me? Could that be me? Us? We could fall in there and go back to zero? No trace left? Oh my days, you'll start pondering life. You'll be doing autopsies on the fucking solar system next. The universe, I meant. Where is it? It's got to be in here somewhere. Ah, fascinating, isn't it, really? And it gets respected, doesn't it? Like, all of the pieces of the puzzle were here. I just know it. Just... How the hell? God, I make you marvel more. Then think about all of the books that will come from that and all of the questions that will be asked. The questions, even more so on top of the questions, you know? Mm-hmm. That it happens to you. Mm-hmm. It happens to this. Sort of mutes you. But I know it was there because it was moving, it was doing something, and then it's going to go on to do something else. Is that reincarnation? Does it know the same thing if it recreates it? Well, I don't know. Let's watch this gas, see how it... And technically, backward engineer this black hole, because it sucked up this, and this, it should only be capable of remaking those exact same things. Shall we watch? I don't know if I want to watch this, got things to do, but look at my eternal camera. We're just going to film all of this gas from a distance and we'll see. Maybe I'll ask you questions, won't it? Will that re-transform back into what went in it? Mm-hmm. What went in, does it come back out the same way? Mm-hmm. And then the universe is like, you know, modeller's clay? Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to make 2 supernovas out of this. Wait, but supernovas didn't go into it. We saw life and everything. Yeah, I'm making a few supernovas. Supernovas are coming, man. Actually, I changed my mind. What did you make? A neutrino instead. So everyone's, you know, so everyone will be grabbed by that. The gravitational influences on those things, and the magnetism makes Jupiter look like a walk in a park, a daisy in a field. There you are. Yeah. So, yeah, life is very strange, isn't it? And what's going on the small level seems to be the bigger level. Can you imagine trying to that will then make you start asking more questions. So if it went in like that, how could it have been next time, last time, the time before? What will be next? You see, the questions are bigger. But all of this shit, extinction, you're running well past it. And did you know that the future, if they ever were to see a video like this, I'm not saying that we're going to have ego or anything, but can you imagine that though? Them remnants of Facebook and Google and YouTube, if it was kept, right? Yeah. Those archives, whatever else. And many generations go by and they start looking back at, you know, it's all quiet on the book face now, and it's all quiet on the TubeU and the UE tubes. It's all quiet. There's a new thing, a new craze and everything else, and then we become the past. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not like pictures that we see. Draw my wall painting. There's the difference. That's basically the best way you could have the past, but now it's so much more different, isn't it? It's like these videos, this movement. We're here right now talking this. Yeah. Is it an alien? Is it this? Is it that? Right? Yes, we all are aliens if you think about it. Are you aliens yet in the future? You should be. You're already out in ETs, right? You are. Yeah, you've become them. And to look back at that and to go through all of those movements and different weird stuff that we have all got, these profiles and shit. And they let's say they come across a video like this one that's similar to or whatever else, and you look at that and they're like, wait, what? This can't be real. Nah, they must have doctored this. Nah, they fucking engineered it, didn't they? There's no way. There must have been this, and... Do you ever think that they could look back on certain things, the slight jest of statements that people say on Facebook and be like, wait, what? They were saying shit that's relevant to today. Could you ever imagine that? How did they know? And we were doing dumb shit right now, weren't we? We are, aren't we? We were doing some really dumb stuff. What have I got around me that was highly toxic that we don't know about now, but the future is like, God, it was some dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's not the orange plant, is it? It's not the orange. It's not
All
the
the
fabric.
all the plastics
There's
everywhere.
going to be something somewhere in here doing something that they're going to be like, or maybe it's a hat that you wear. But did you know that wearing hats does this, 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 and this? You know, it's like, there's something here that's...
Usually what's in the clothes, what dye or something like that, added materials.
Oh, it's bizarre, isn't it? And yeah, in this mindset now, that if you're looking at it now, we were not doing any of that stuff. You know, we look at the past. Stop looking at us. Don't look at the past. They were drinking fucking arsenic and shit and medicine. Go and have a look at that. We are no longer doing any of that, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, fuck, you were. Oh, my days, you lot were. You were doing this, this, and this." Yeah, prove it. Look at this video. What's a video? Never mind. A place called YouTube? Is that how we say it? I don't even know if they use that same language anymore, you know? What's a tube? TVs were tubes. No, just come on, and magnetic. Magnify, weren't they? Yeah, tubes. Anyway, we won't dive into that. Yeah, so technology will be completely different then, won't it?
Yeah, it already is, isn't it? We no
Pretty
longer
much.
have tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking holograms are awesome, by the way. Can you imagine that hologram? You can go back to any of your ancestors and just bring them to life with all of the data that they left on places like Facebook, YouTube, and everything else like that.
Yeah.
CCTV.
Some old videos find some grandparents that didn't have even that.
No longer looking at a picture of, oh, look at this past place here. Look at that. It's like, it's good, but it's really dated, isn't it? It really is. But now they get to see it moving. They will have like a hologram street of the past, of under all of our CCTV and everything else of us just walking around, sort of like looking down at mobile phones instead of newspapers. The old one was newspapers, wasn't it? Everyone was all in a line. Everyone had the same newspaper. Nowadays, it's mobile phones.
Yeah.
Did you want to read this after me? Now it's more like, no, it's my fucking phone. What the hell? Get your own. Oh my God. That must be looking really strange, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Do you ever think there will ever be a time where if you're on a ship somewhere, that it will all be sort of communal areas of certain... Would you even be able to tell the difference between real and fake? It's really hard to do so now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is it or isn't it? That's the bit. I like that. Is it? Isn't it? Could it have been? I would disbelieve it. Because once you've reached a level, you stop believing. Do you know that? Once you reach a certain level, you begin to stop. You question it. You'll say, it must have just been ancient stuff they were talking about. Perhaps there was a plant that we didn't know about, and when they were setting fire to Fenland, drawing out all of the animals before they pulled their bows, they were getting intoxicated. This made them have spiritual awakenings, and then they went off and built loads of things like Stonehenge, perhaps pyramids, and maybe the Mayan temples, so forth, so on, so on. Yeah, that was some really good stuff that they burnt back then, that they even got on boats, pissed off to Easter Island and started making Incas, didn't they? Rolling them down the hill. Is it the Inca Island? Don't know, maybe it's not.
Easter Island?
Easter Island, sorry, yes it is. Yeah, there you go, sorry.
With the statues that
Yes.
look out to the sea, don't they?
Yeah, you know, those things can walk down.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. I saw that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's how I've been moving furniture around most of my life in a house. You know.
That was easy, unlike other statues, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Easy to move them.
And then they bury them.
Yeah, and then they sit them there and gave them eyes and hats.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah.
What were they doing that for? First, photographs, were they? I'm going to be here forever.
Maybe they were supposed to scare the incoming people.
Yeah, I mean, that would pretty much freak
because
you
they
out.
look big from the distance, didn't
And if
they?
they
With the
started
heads.
rolling down a hill like that, I think anybody that was nearby. But there again, that would then indicate that there must have been technology to get these places.
Yeah.
So, after all, aren't we all ships? Everything is a ship. The body is a ship. Planet is
And
a
we
ship.
don't know
Space is a
how
ship.
many islands are underwater now, do we?
Yeah.
That are just shallows now. And used to be islands in the past.
Wetlands, much wetter.
Okay.
Turn of the Ice
so
Age.
in the sea.
More water. Yeah. Yeah, these are very interesting things. Anyway, I think I should leave this one here. It's not really where I wanted to go with it, but fuck it. Yeah, I'm happy with it anyway. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? There is. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'll do another one at a later date anyway and enhance this a bit more, but it is what it is. But could you imagine that? Of all of these types of people that all come together at the same time. All of them. With that seed of knowing, what would they do? But it's the perspective change that
There
fascinates
were
me.
always people that were not definitely very close around, but at Tesla's time, for example, there were many people playing with electricity and trying to figure something out. So someone sparked the imagination of the other scientists or whatever they were. Everyone was trying to find out something and talk about it.
Unlimited
Yeah.
for you to be able to go and experiment with anything at any time. It's beautiful, isn't it? And yeah, I understand that there was lots of people doing this, but I'm on about the throughout history, the branches of all of these individuals, the hands around them. Sure, they all played a role in bouncing off of one another, to be honest, passing the knowledge. No, I'm on about collecting all of these confined. It's small, you would say, small number in the grand scheme of things, but even still, there's still a lot of power there, and the individuals around them that made stuff happen. These are important. I think that's reserved for anything looking in and through you has the ability to see that. All of the things that from multiple perspectives, to be able to see how that worked and be able to recreate that with the right amount, with the right adjustments to, and then you got to imagine if these people were all together at the same time. Yes, I'm sure it's going to cause some differences that might need to be tuned until eventually you end up with something that is, well, I'd say indestructible to the mind should be. The mind should be the most. It's been given more seeds than the universe has, yes? So it's. So the factor 1 plus factor 2 should give you factor 3 in an outcome. That's the bit that separates all of us from everything else. But we just go this way, this sort of haphazardy way. And we wait for extinction. Well, I'm sure it will change. I'm sure it will. It's that's the fate, really, isn't it? Really, there was something moving here once, and then all of a sudden, gone. That's it. No middle ground. And even if we go 1%, 2%, blah blah, whatever it may be, that won't work either, because there's a lot of stuff that can happen. It's going to test. It's going to push back. That seems to be what it does best. But adding in more hydrogen into the scenario means more possibility next time. I think that should be a gift. And I say, you might not be able to create that. Bollocks. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And again, this is a very small seed, very small one, but it's going to grow. You water it and it will grow. Black hole is another seed. You got to see it to believe it sometimes. And when you start to, it starts opening Pandora's box of mindset. Once you've reached all of these and you've let go of all the extinction and everything else, and you've conquered all of that, what have you got left to do? Well, you'll start playing with this stuff, start questioning it. Why? Because it's relevant. Now, probably not so much. It's probably exciting to think about it. But people will forget that because it won't be anything tangible that they can see happen in the But the future, they'll start to play around with it, and if they sense it back in the past, holy shit, that's going to create more, I don't know, questions and answers, but also answer the questions that they have been asking, create more questions in answering those. It's interesting, really. You swap them. All right, I'll trade you these. Okay, you want the answers? Yes, I do. Will you accept all of these extra questions on top of it? Wait a second. Hold on a minute. I'm not sure that's a good deal, is it? Well, it's like a genie, isn't it? Offering to answer your, genie, what do you want? What wish do you want? I don't know if you're allowed to. You can give me a wish. Oh, I just don't know what. I'm curious to know what a genie would wish for if it already had the opportunity to create anything it wanted.
Yeah.
That's my curiosity. What would you do with that, even though you've got everything? Anyway, but still, interesting. I want money! No, I would want a better world for everybody. A better existence, a better universe, a better this. Yeah, I want everyone to succeed. Can you grant wishes like that? Because it still fits in the, anyway, but still. Yeah, could you imagine that? I'll give you the answers, but I need to give you questions as well. What type of fortune cookie is this? It sort of gives and takes, right? That's a funny thing. But yeah, people forget. Yeah, it's often the way it goes. And then they doubt it.
Yeah.
And it kickstarts more. But yeah, eventually it will lead to something. And that's if you get there. Did you want to get there? That's another question entirely. I think yes. If not, what's it all for? You're either going to make it nothing or you're going to make it something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Collectively. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here because I'm going to push on. I've got other things I'd like to do, I think. Yeah. Start with this.